Hey everybody, welcome back. I was off on a little vacation last week, and so I'm really delighted to be back with you. I'm wondering how you're getting along with noticing and amplifying joy. If you're working through the calendar that I created for the month of February on joy, then you've begun to cultivate joy in your life. And if you haven't already got the calendar, then I'll leave a link in the description box below so that you can download it and work your way through each of the daily prompts. If you want to receive the calendar each month in advance, then join my mailing list, and I'll leave a link to that in the description box below as well. Each of the daily prompts for the month of February offer a pathway to cultivating joy through a host of exercises that build laughter, happiness, self-worth, and a whole host of other positive emotions. You might well ask, well, why are we bothering to cultivate any emotion at all? Since on this channel, I do talk quite a bit about mindfulness, where we're not meant to attach to any particular thought or emotion or physical sensation. And the answer to that is complex. On the one hand, yes, we don't want to attach to any particular emotion, but we are living this life and we can make a choice as to whether we fill ourselves with positive thoughts and positive emotions, or we fill ourselves with negative thoughts and negative emotions. So while we don't want to become attached to anything in particular, we can make the choice to replace the negative with the positive. As you'll see later on, this also is not a practice that cultivates what's called toxic positivity. We're not ignoring the fact that there is suffering in the world. In fact, we are experiencing that and letting it go, just as much as we are experiencing our moments of happiness and knowing that they too will pass us by. And secondly, through the practice of mindfulness, we become aware of all the fleeting things that we identify with as ourselves. So we become aware of our physical sensations, we become aware of our thoughts and of our emotions, and we notice them and let them go. According to Hinduism, as we let go of all the things that are not us, then we discover what is true and abiding within us. And that is a state of bliss or joy. In the Christian tradition, joy holds a central place as well as being one of the fruits of the Spirit. And in practicing Christianity, one is expected to do so with a cheerful and joyous heart. Even the spiritual tradition of Buddhism holds a central place for joy. Buddhism is famously known for the statement that all of life is suffering, and the source of that suffering is attachment. But in order to come to terms with all of that suffering, joy is a necessary component on the path to enlightenment. And if you think of the Dalai Lama, is there anyone more joyful? And so with joy holding a central position in so many spiritual traditions, it's clearly something more than an ordinary emotion. Joy might more aptly be thought of as an inner sense of contentment and of well-being, of peace, of vitality, and an enjoyment of life independent of the circumstances. There are spiritual practices in each of these traditions that can help an individual attain joy. But what of the secular majority? Well, each of the practices that we'll be going through in a life gratefully lived of 10,000 days of gratitude helps to cultivate that inner sense of peace, contentment, of vitality, and enjoyment of life on its own terms. This month, we begin with flexing our muscle of vitality, of enjoyment of life on its own terms. While maybe laughter is not exactly joy, it helps to prime the pump so that we are building our capacity to feel positive affect. Many of us don't experience a great amount of positive affect because we feel we don't deserve it, or because we feel like it is frowned upon to be too happy in public life. And so we're building our capacity for joy. I hope that you're enjoying working through each of the daily activities on the calendar. For what are you most grateful today?